Many years ago, in the calm, beautiful town of Shagamu, there lived a young woman named Shade. At 21, Shade had just completed her education. She was beautiful, tall, graceful, with soft brown skin and sharp, curious eyes. But beyond her beauty, Shade was sharp-tongued. If something was paining Shade, you would hear it before you even saw it. She didn't take nonsense from anyone, and she would always speak her mind. Shade had this slim figure that made clothes sit well on her, and her hips, it could confuse a bishop. She lived with her aunt in a modest bungalow and was working for her also in her tailoring shop. One evening, it has just rained. The air was cool and thick with the smell of wet sand, and Shade was struggling with her aunt's old generator, the one that made noise like a tractor and only worked when it felt like. She pulled the starter rope again. Nothing. She tried again and again, still nothing. A man stood across the street waiting beside a car. He looked like he wasn't from the area, clean, confident, wearing a pale blue shirt that clung gently to his broad shoulders. His wristwatch caught the last light of the setting sun. He watched her for a while, then walked over slow and polite. "Excuse me," he said gently. "May I help?" Shade looked up, sweat on her forehead. She frowned slightly. "It's okay, I'm used to it. He just likes to misbehave." Then she tried again. Still nothing. He smiled, crouched beside her, adjusted the choke knob and pulled once. The generator coughed, then roared to life. She stared. "How did you do that?" "It's an old trick. I used to fix the one in my father's house before I entered university." He wiped his hand with a tissue from his pocket. "My name is Tunde." She nodded, slightly embarrassed. "Shade, thank you." Before he could say anything more, a friend called out to him from the parked car. He gave her a small smile and walked away. Shade watched him leave, her heart strangely light. She shook her head and muttered, "Generator whisperer." She didn't expect to see him again until 2 weeks later. She was at the bank, standing in line to deposit money for her aunt. The queue was long and her legs already aching. She was shifting her weight from one foot to the other when a familiar voice said behind her, "Are you still fighting with machines or just long queues now?" She turned quickly and there he was, this time dressed in a crisp white shirt and grey trousers. Still calm, still smiling. Shade blinked, then laughed. "You again? I didn't think you would remember me. How could I forget the man who embarrassed me in front of my aunt's generator?" He chuckled. "Come with me." "Where to?" she asked. "I work here." He pointed towards a nearby door. "Let me help you sort that deposit out." Shade followed him inside. He logged in the money, stamped her teller, and handed it back with a grin. "Can I have your number?" he asked. Shade hesitated for a moment, then called it out. He typed it in, dialed it immediately, and her phone rang in her bag. "That's me," he said, slipping his phone into his pocket. Later that evening, he called her. The next evening too, and the next. Soon, they were talking every night about life, about family, about their dreams, their regrets, their past. He told her he was the assistant branch manager at the bank they met. Shade was surprised. She never imagined someone that polished, that composed, would notice someone like her. But he did. He started visiting the shop sometimes. He would sit in a corner quietly while she measured fabrics and attended to customers. And when she was free, they would talk and laugh. Shade loved to tell stories and Tunde loved to listen to her. He said her words painted pictures in his mind. When she closed from work, he would drive her home, and soon their friendship melted into something deeper. They began dating. They loved each other very much. Shade told Tunde that he made her feel safe, and she brought light into his structured, serious world. After almost a year of being together, he proposed and they had a very simple but elegant wedding. Marriage at first was sweet. Shade would wake up early, cook, clean, and get Tunde's clothes ironed and ready. Tunde would sit at the dining table praising her culinary skills. In the evenings, when he returned home, he always brought something for Shade: suya, meat pie, sometimes fish. She would rub his shoulders gently and sit close, listening to him talk about his day at work. Even though most of what he said about finance made little sense to her, she still paid attention. He would say things like, the account was flagged for unusual activity, and she would just nod, eyes wide like someone watching a dramatic scene on Z World. They laughed a lot in those days, but slowly something changed. Shade started noticing little things, the things he didn't do. He didn't say thank you when she cleaned the house from top to bottom. He didn't notice her hair when she got a new wave. He didn't even buy her small gifts like before. And when her friends came around with their long nails and loud perfumes, they would talk about how their husbands got them wigs from Instagram vendors or surprised them with iPhones for one reason or the other. That was when the complaints increased. At first, it was light, playful even. She would say things like, all my friends are using Bone Street, but I'm here managing this local fiber hair. God, when? She would say, flipping her weave dramatically in front of the mirror. Tunde would smile, still calm, and say, you look beautiful either way. But it didn't stop there. One evening, while he was eating rice, she dropped the spoon in frustration. Sometimes I feel like a stingy man, she said. He looked up slowly. Sade, where is this coming from? Where is it coming from? You're asking me that? Look at Kemi's husband, eh? Is he better than us? He just bought her a new woman hair wig last week. 850k. Tunde blinked. 850k for hair? Yes now, for hair. And what did you buy me last month, eh, Tunde? A frying pan. Am I a caterer? Tunde sighed and pushed his plate away. Well, I'm not Kemi's husband. I don't know how he makes his money, he said calmly. And you are not Kemi. Please now, stop comparing. But Sade wouldn't stop. Every little thing became a trigger. The AC was too noisy, problem. The bedsheet was old, another issue. The house was boring. His job was boring. She even said the way he walked annoyed her sometimes. One Saturday morning, Tunde was trimming his nails in the living room. Sade walked past and muttered under her breath, ordinary nails, you can't even cut inside the bathroom. Everything, you must put it in people's face. Tunde looked up. Sorry, did you say something? She turned. No, but since you asked, yes, you're always doing things like you're living alone. Don't you know you're married? Do you even care that I exist in this house and that I clean everywhere on a daily basis? He dropped the nail cutter, stood up, and walked into the bedroom. That was his new pattern. Silence. He didn't fight, he didn't argue, he just went quiet. But silence, as peaceful as it looks, can be dangerous when it starts to gather weight. Soon, he stopped coming home early. Sade would sit alone in the sitting room, arms folded, eyes on the clock. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m. And when he finally walked in, smelling faintly of cologne and car AC, she would explode. So, this is the new you now, Abi? You now come back home whenever you like. Tunde would drop his keys calmly and say, I had to walk. I have work to do. Work, care. So your work now includes disappearing and ignoring my calls, eh? Okay, oh, just continue. Let's see how this your banking style will end in this house. At first, he would ignore the shouting, go into his room, take a shower, eat silently. But one night, she went too far. You're not even a real man, Tunde, just a glorified office boy in suit and tie. That was the night he snapped. He stood up from the dining table so fast the chair made a loud scraping sound. What did you say to me? Sade was shocked for a second, but pride didn't let her calm down. I said what I said. Is it a lie? You wear suits every day but still can't take care of your own wife. His voice rose, sharp and unexpected. Maybe if you acted like a wife instead of a running mouth machine, I would. Sade gasped. Today you just insulted me. Oh, did I? I'm matching your energy, he fired back. Since you've decided this house is a boxing ring, I'm done holding the gloves. We'll fight. From that night, The shouting became frequent. No day passed without tension. Neighbors could hear raised voices from outside on a daily basis. Every time their curtains are twitching, gossip spread. What started as love was now a battlefield, and inside that beautiful bungalow, their marriage was at war. By their third year of marriage, love had become a memory. Sade and Tunde still lived in the same house, slept in the same bed, and shared the same meals, but they felt like strangers wearing wedding rings. Their home was no longer a place of peace. It had become a battlefield. The shouting matches were daily, the insults sharp, and the silence deadly. Sade had gone tired. Tunde had grown cold. He now came home late almost every evening, barely said more than 3 words to her, and slept facing the wall on a daily basis. Sade in turn became louder, angrier, and more bitter. Every little thing he did irritated her. She talked back, mocked him, accused him. One evening, he returned home from work around 10:13 p.m. Sade was waiting in the sitting room, arms folded. Congratulations, oh, she said as he walked in. You finally decided to come home. Tunde dropped his keys. Sade, please, not today. She stood. Not today? Which day then? Tell me. The day I found out you've been sleeping with your secretary? He looked at her. His eyes were tired, red. You need to stop. Or what? Tell me. You will walk out and go back to your mystery woman's house? You think I'm stupid? He tried to walk past her. She blocked him. You used to be different, Tunde. You used to be sweet, gentle, loving. Now look at you, a ghost of the man I married. Tunde exhaled slowly. Sade, I'm trying to hold this marriage together, but you keep what? I will keep quiet, talking, complaining every time. I'm sorry, I'm not mute like your mother probably was. The room went cold. He turned sharply. Don't talk about my mother. Oh, what? She snapped. You will do what, eh, Tunde? What will you do? And before either of them could think, he slapped her. The sound echoed. The room fell silent. Sade's face turned. Her breath caught in her throat. She looked at him with tears in her eyes, and for the first time in their marriage, she felt nothing. No anger, no pain, just emptiness. I will deal with you, Tunde, she said, walking away. That night, Sade sat in the living room with tears in her eyes as she remembered how her marriage has been. She remembered how Tunde would always come back with gifts for her every single day. But these past years, she was scared whenever she heard Tunde's horn beep. Tunde had become a stranger, a cold, heartless stranger. He now complained about everything, her food, her looks, her presence. He stopped eating her meals, stopped talking to her, even reduced the monthly allowances he once gave her without fail. I can't continue to live like this, she muttered. Maybe I should just leave. Leave to where? She asked. She had no job and has been a housewife since they got married. Tunde had opened a small shop for her in front of their bungalow, but she rarely stayed there, and she knew that the moment she decided to leave the house, Tunde would not allow her to come back there. I need to make Tunde pay, she muttered under her breath. She didn't sleep that night. Her body laid on their bed, but her soul was somewhere. She turned from side to side until dawn. And as soon as Tunde left for work the next morning, she grabbed her bag and headed to the only person who wouldn't judge her, Dupe. Dupe lived alone. She was older, unmarried and brutally honest. When she opened the door and saw Sade's swollen cheek, she didn't ask plenty questions. She just stepped aside and let her in. Sade sat in silence for a long time, staring at nothing. Finally, Dupe spoke. What happened to your face? Do you want to talk about it? Sade shook her head. Not really. I want the pain to stop. My husband has changed totally. Tunde now cheats on me and beats me up at random. I'm tired of the marriage. I don't know what to do. I can't leave. I have nothing to fall back to, she said as tears welled through her eyes. Well, I know a Baba. Tupe spoke calmly. He helps women like you fix their marriage. Sade gave a dry laugh. Fix? Fix? Dupe, that man is finished. He can never be fixed. I don't need him fixed. I need peace. If today dies today, I swear, I'll sleep better. Don't worry. Baba can also make that one happen. We can go to his place now if you want. 10 minutes later, they were on the road. Dupe drove. Shade sat quietly in the passenger seat, her heart pounding. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. They arrived at a small compound on the edge of the town. Old zinc roofing. A lantern flickered in the corner. The air smelled of herbs and dust. An old man with grey hair, thick glasses and a deep voice welcomed them in. He examined Shade for a while, then asked, "What do you want, my dear?" Shade explained her problems. Then the man went inside and a few minutes later came back with a tiny white container. He placed it gently on the table. "This," he said, "will give you what you want. A quiet, peaceful life with no trouble. No shouting, no betrayal." Shade stared at it. "What's inside, Baba?" He didn't answer directly. "You will put a little in his meal once every day, just a pinch, nothing more. Within a month, your husband will be so sick and he will die of heart failure and to never be traced to you." "Are you sure, Baba? Are you sure no one will suspect me?" "This substance is a very strong substance. No one will ever know or trace that you poisoned him because the drugs will work slowly." Shade nodded happily. "Okay, Baba, thank you so much." As she stood to leave, the man beckoned at her. "Wait, there is one condition. You will put a small pinch in his food, just a small pinch, and only once a day for the next 30 days. He leaned forward, then said, "But there is one condition. You must treat your husband with kindness from today. You must stop fighting, no insults, no shouting, no bitterness. You must never answer your husband back. You must serve him food with love, smile, submit, and treat him with full respect even when he offends you. That is the only way it will work." Shade froze. Baba, you want me to be nice to that man? He curses me, he insults me and even slapped me, Baba. He cheated on me. How can I be nice to him?" The Baba's voice was calm, firm. "Yes, because this medicine only works in silence, not in war. It must be wrapped in peace to be powerful." Shade hesitated. Her hands trembled slightly. Then without another word, she picked up the container, then carried her bags. And in that moment, she crossed a line. A part of her knew it, but another part whispered, "Anything is better than this constant pain." Shade didn't sleep that night. She came back home from Baba's place. She just laid there, stiff, her eyes wide open, while Tunde snored softly beside her, like he hadn't slapped her 2 nights ago. "Look at him," she thought, snoring like a blessed child, after turning me into a punching bag. But she didn't speak it out. She didn't even let a sigh. By morning, she was up before him. She wore her clothes and entered the kitchen. She stood over the stove with her arms folded. For a while, she just stared at the pot. Then she reached for Baba's small container. She opened it slowly, as if expecting spirits to fly out. It didn't smell like anything. Didn't even look dangerous. Just pale brown powder like crayfish dust. Her hands trembled as she scooped a little pinch and dropped it into the plate of yam porridge she had scooped out for Tunde, then stepped back. Then came the doubt. What if this thing works? What if it doesn't? What if he dies tonight? What if guilt finishes me before the powder does anything? She pushed the thoughts aside and served the food. The table was set, water in his glass, fruit on the side, napkin neatly folded. It was almost romantic. When Tunde walked out of the room, freshly bathed and dressed for work, he stood mid-step. Shade smiled like she hadn't cursed him in her heart 2 hours ago. "Good morning, darling," she said sweetly. "Your food is ready." Tunde narrowed his eyes. "You cooked?" Why are you talking like that? I cook every day," she replied, tilting her head, still smiling. He walked to the table, looked at the food, looked at her. Then he said, I'm not hungry oh. Shade's heart jumped. Ah wow, Baba didn't prepare me for this one oh. You are not hungry? She asked, still forcing the smile. Nope. He reached for his phone. Shade walked over and gently pulled the phone out of his hand. Tunde, she said calmly but firmly, I know things have been rough, but let's try. Please, just eat. You haven't eaten my food in over a week now. Tunde raised the brow. So? Suddenly you are cooking for me and even smiling. Shouldn't I be scared? She gave a dry laugh and rubbed her hands together like a schoolgirl. I know I've been difficult. I know. I talk too much. This my mouth safe. It will not rest. Or maybe I miss us Tunde. He looked at her for a long time. Too long. Shade, you poisoned it, shey? He said. Shade gasped. Tunde, what kind of joke is that? Stop now. She blinked. No need to answer that, madam. Her conscience spoke. He's not wrong, you know. But she knelt beside him, placed a hand on his thigh. Please, just try and eat, even if it's just one spoon. Tunde sighed and picked the spoon, slowly like someone tasting soup at a poison testing center. He put one spoon in his mouth, chewed, paused, waited. Nothing happened. He took another spoon, then another. Soon, he was halfway through the plate. He didn't say a word, but he kept glancing at her like she's grown an extra head. Thank you, he muttered when he was done. The food was nice. Shade smiled. I put extra love inside. Tunde stood, wiped his mouth. You sure it wasn't extra poison, right? She burst into laughter, half real, half nervous. You're still alive, Abi? No worry. This house go sweet past honeymoon soon. He shook his head, picked his bag, and left the house. The door clicked shut. Shade exhaled. Day one done and dusted. The next day, she made egusi soup for dinner. No pepper. Tunde didn't like too much. She added one pinch of the powder again, served it neatly. He didn't speak when he got home, but he sat and ate it. No fight, no grumbling, just silence. Each day, she followed the same pattern. Smile, cook, add a tiny pinch. Smile, serve, no shouting. Smile and swallow her own pride like a bitter pill. And every day, Tunde seemed a little more nice, a little more human. On day 5, he brought shawarma home, dropped it on the table and said, You mentioned craving this last week. Shade blinked. You remembered? He shrugged. Yes now. Thank you. Don't mention, he said, walking away. She laughed, not because it was funny, but because for the first time in weeks, the air in the house didn't feel like smoke. Is it that powder or is it me? She didn't know, but she couldn't deny that something was changing, not in Tunde alone, but even in her. Day 15, the house was no longer a war zone. There was peace, gentle, strange peace. Shade now woke up with purpose. She cooked not with anger, but with care. She listened when Tunde spoke, even when it was about boring office things that she didn't really understand. He, in turn, no longer walked past her like a furniture. He was present. He came back early, and he was trying. One evening, out of nowhere, Tunde sent her a text. There's a bag in my drawer. It's for you. There's a human hair and a dress for our date tonight. Look good. Shade blinked. Date, as in restaurant outing, like date night. That evening, we drove to a fancy Chinese restaurant at the heart of town. Candles flickered. The smell of grilled chicken filled the air. A slow saxophone played in the background. Tunde held her hands across the table. I'm sorry for slapping you, he said. I have really been overwhelmed with work, and each time I come home, it's like I'm coming home to a war zone. I know I've been a difficult man, he said quietly. I lost myself somewhere along the way. I don't know when I started seeing you as an opponent instead of my partner. I promise to do better. Be better. That night they talked. Really talked. Shade swallowed hard. I wasn't innocent either, she whispered. I compared, I nagged, I disrespected you. Maybe I let frustration change me. He rubbed her palm. I'm sorry. Tears filled her eyes. I'm sorry too. For the first time in a long time, they hugged each other tightly as tears streamed down Sade's eyes. And that night when they got home, after he kissed her softly and told her he loved her, Sade walked into the kitchen alone. She opened the cabinet, reached for the small white container, stared at it for a long, heavy minute. Then she walked outside into the backyard and flung it into the dustbin. She washed her hands, went back inside and called into her husband's arms. She had chosen love, she had chosen peace. But peace didn't last long. The next morning, Tunde woke up coughing, not a regular cough, a deep chesty one that rattled his throat. Are you okay? Shade asked half asleep. He waved it off, just dry throat. But by the time he got back from work that evening, he was literally shivering. His lips were pale, his skin warm, too warm. Your body is hot, Shade said, rushing to touch his forehead. You're burning. I think I just need sleep, he mumbled, dragging himself into the bed. But the next morning it got worse. He vomited twice before 8 a.m. His hands were shaking. His speech was slow. Shade's heart pounded. No, 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 it can't be. She rushed him to the hospital, tears clouding her eyes the entire drive. The nurses admitted him immediately. Drips, tests, blood samples, but no answers. His system is fighting something, the doctor said. We're not sure what yet. We'll do more tests. Shade nodded, but inside she was breaking because she knew what she had done. Even though she had stopped, even though she had thrown it away. She excused herself, left the hospital in a rush, took a bike straight to Baba's compound. Her chest was heaving, her eyes were red. She didn't even knock properly. She just pushed the wooden door open. Baba, Baba, please help me, help me. The old man flinched. He was sitting cross-legged on a mat, grinding leaves in a small calabash. Shade dropped to her knees. Please, Baba, I beg you, I beg you. I don't want my husband to die again. I don't want to kill my husband again. Please, do something. Please help me. Her voice cracked as the tears came. I stopped, Baba. I stopped giving him the substance. It's been days. I even threw it away. But now, Baba, he's sick. He's very sick. He's vomiting. He's weak. I don't want my husband to die. Baba, Baba, help me. Still, he didn't answer. Please, if he dies, I don't know what I will do. He's the love of my life. She sobbed. He can't die. Please, I won't be able to live with myself, Baba. Please help me. Ejo, Mabinu, help me. Oh. After what felt like forever, Baba looked up. Your husband is not sick because of what you give him, he said simply. Shade froze. What? She asked, confusion written all over her face. He leaned forward, his eyes calm. That substance I gave you was not poison. She blinked. It wasn't. It was nothing, he said. Grounded root powder, harmless, empty. It cannot kill. It cannot heal. Shade stared at him like her brain couldn't catch up. But you said he would die if I gave it to him every night. Well, I said he would become weak and that your problems will go away, Baba said. And they did, didn't they? Shade's lips parted slightly. Her chest rose and fell. I don't understand. You became peaceful, Baba said. You became quiet, loving, respectful. You treated him like a king and he responded like a king. You changed the man, not the powder. Shade pressed her hands to the mouth. You mean it was me all along? He nodded slowly. It was always you. Your tongue had more poison than anything I could have given you. She stared at the ground, her body trembling. So what's wrong with him now? Baba shrugged. Maybe malaria, maybe stress, but it has nothing to do with me or the powder you gave him. He paused. Take him to the hospital. Let them treat him. He will be fine. Shade covered her face. The tears flowed freely down. Relief, shame, gratitude, fear, it all poured out all at once. She had wanted him dead, but love brought her back, and now she knew the truth. She stood up slowly. Thank you, Baba, she whispered. Shade returned to the hospital with shaky hands and a heart still pounding with guilt. Tunde was awake, propped up against the pillows, eyes half open. The drip hung beside him, gently ticking away. She rushed to his side. How are you feeling? She asked, brushing his hair gently. He looked at her, his voice weak but steady. I feel better, I think. The doctors walked in moments later holding a file. We ran all the tests, he said with a smile. Nothing serious, no poison, no infection, just a mild allergic reaction, most likely from something he ate recently. Shade blinked. From where? Anywhere really, maybe something during a recent dinner, a spice or oil his body didn't like. Shade remembered the grilled prawns Tunde had ordered that night. He had never eaten prawns before, he just wanted to try something new. She exhaled deeply. Thank you, doctor. He smiled and left the room. Shade turned to Tunde. She didn't speak, she just held his hands. I thought I was going to lose you, she whispered. Tunde squeezed her palm gently. I'm not going anywhere, my love. And he didn't. He got better that same day. Within 2 nights, he was back home, back in their bed, back in her arms, back in their quiet little world. But something in Shade had changed completely, not because of fear, not guilt, because of love. From that day forward, she became the woman she was always meant to be, tender but strong, peaceful but powerful, a woman who loved loudly but respectfully. And Tunde, he responded like a man finally seeing the treasure he almost lost. The quarrel stopped. The silence faded, laughter returned to the house. Their home, once full of war, became a heaven of peace. And even though Tunde never found out about the powder, Shade never needed it again. She had learned that sometimes what you're trying to change in someone else is a reflection of something you need to fix in yourself. And from that moment on, they lived happily ever after. The end. Wow. Thank you so much for joining me in today's deeply emotional and unforgettable story. We've just seen how pain, pride, and misunderstanding can destroy something beautiful, and how healing doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it begins with us. Shade thought the only way out of her broken marriage was to end it permanently. She was ready to even commit murder. But what truly changed her home wasn't poison. It was patience, submission, and kindness. And Tunde, he wasn't perfect. He made his own mistakes. He let anger and ego take over. But when he saw love again, he responded to it. This story reminds us that real power isn't in shouting, nagging, or comparing our lives with others. It's in choosing peace over pride. It's in feeding someone's soul, not just their stomach. And here's the twist that shocked us all. There was never any poison in that food. The only thing that was truly killing their marriage was their attitude. So here's the question: how many homes are being destroyed not by cheating or abuse or even anything big, but by little things like sharp tongue, silent treatment, comparison, lack of communication? The moral of this story is clear. Sometimes it's not your partner who needs change, it's how you handle your partner that needs healing. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in Sade's shoes, would you have gone to Baba? Would you have taken that kind of extreme measure? What would you have done? Would you have been patient to change first, or you would have just walked away? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I always love reading what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more stories like this one. Until next time, stay wise, stay humble, and remember, the real medicine for most problems is love wrapped in peace. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.